Toastmaster KKG, past district governor, as well as the amazing team for inviting me to be part of your Star Speakers webinar. When I first heard from KK his vision about what Star Speakers webinars would be about, I said, yes, put me in straight away. I want to share, I want to be part of this, because especially in this pandemic as well, we need to support each other and build each other up and add value to each other. So thank you so much. And I want to also start by just seeing whether I can influence you positively, as what Charlie says. So if you are sitting down, continue sitting down, just sit nice and straight, and you're gonna put one hand on your head, just tap it. Can you see from my virtual? Yeah, just tap it, tap on your head. And then the other hand, can you rub your tummy, go around? So one hand is tapping, one hand is going around. Good, not bad, well done. Let me see if I can see everybody in the gallery view. Okay, very good. Wow, nice coordination, everyone. Okay, now you're going to switch. So switch hands. Now the other hand is going to, yes, we see some, we see some coordination challenged. Okay, very good. Okay, well done. Okay, next challenge of influence is going to be your fingers. So one hand has a thumbs up sign. Can you see it? Thumbs up sign. And the other hand has your pinky up. Okay, very good. And now you're going to switch. And switch. No, yeah, Hui Sang is just one thumb and one finger. And switch again. And switch. And switch. Very good. Not bad, not too bad. We will get that perfect by the end of this. Okay, a few more. Now I want you to hold on, just touch your nose, one hand touching your nose. And then if you have another hand, you can touch your ear. If you just want to use your hand and your other hand is drinking water, it's okay, just use one hand. And then now I want you to switch. That means your hand has to hold the ear. And switch again, switch. And switch. Okay, not bad. Okay, last one. You're going to shoot. So have one hand just one thumb up, one finger forward. Yeah, and the other hand holding 4 fingers up. Okay, and now you're going to switch. And switch. And switch. Ayo, you all at the thumb, cannot move on some of them. Yeah, and switch again. And switch. Okay, final one. Sit a bit further back. One hand, let's say your right hand. Right hand goes in one, let's say your right hand goes clockwise. Okay, right hand goes clockwise, and your right leg has to go anti-clockwise. Your right leg has to go anti-clockwise. Hey, influence yourself lah, come on. That's the hardest one. Okay, well done. Okay, give yourself a clap offering. Not too bad. I managed to influence some of you, hopefully positively. And now you're gonna go back after this, I know, to try all these out with your family as well, right? So this can be a very good game, especially when we're all in lockdown. Okay, good afternoon again. Thank you so much, Shelley, for introducing me. Let me just share my slides now, and then we can get on with the workshop. Okay, from the beginning. All right. Okay, let's start right. So before we even go into what a person of influence is all about, let's just start right. And I want you to believe with me these 3 things as we go on in the workshop, this next 2 hours or an hour and a half. Number 1, believe there is always an answer. And I love the questions that some of you have been sending in already, and I look forward to answering them. But I want you to believe right now there is always an answer. Through this workshop, through the pandemic, through whatever challenges you're going through, there is always an answer. Number two, believe there is always more than one answer. Believe there is always more than one answer. Sometimes we are so stuck with our own beliefs and our own negative thinking. We think there's only one answer, that if we can't reach that, then we give up already. So believe there's always more than one answer. And I hope throughout this workshop, you will see more of that as I share some stories. And number three, believe that everything and everyone can get better. Believe that everything and everyone can get better. So with that mindset, let's get on with the workshop. So let me just introduce myself again. I'm Jasmine. I'm so honored that you have intentionally decided to spend this Sunday afternoon with me. As Charlie said, I am the CEO of IEC, a School of English Language and Study Abroad consultancy for the past 17 years. It's a family business, my dad's business, as well as principal of IEC Baby Ballet, a dance school for 2.5 to 6-year-olds. I will show you a few videos and pictures later. They will melt your heart. They're my babies for the last 2 years. I'm also a Toastmaster with the KK Toastmasters Club. Hi, shout out to all the KK Toastmasters who are here supporting this as well. And as well as a HRDF certified trainer, speaker, and coach under the John Maxwell team. So what are we going to discuss this afternoon? First of all, we're going to talk about what is influence and why influence. I love that question from one of the participants. They asked, why should I become a person of influence? I will answer that. We're going to talk about how a person of influence has faith in people. A person of influence connects with people. And a person of influence enlarges people. And then we are going to do, in a nutshell, to summarize everything and go into Q&A. Now, this is one of John Maxwell's most famous quotes. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And now, before some of you think, oh yeah, but I'm not a leader and I'm not an influencer, so why do I even care about this quote? Well, before you think about leading others, let me talk about self-leadership. Because actually, self-leadership is one of the hardest thing to do. The hardest person to lead is really yourself. And the hardest person to influence is really yourself. So let's focus on self-leadership first and self-influence before we can even think about whether we want to influence someone else. Okay. What is influence? According to the dictionary definition, it is a noun and it means the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. Now we hear of this word all the time, and believe it or not, it is something that we all aspire to be, whether we say it or not, whether we articulate it or not, whether you are 20 and you want to be a social media influencer, or 40 and you want to influence your team as boss or manager, or 60 or 65 and you want to influence your grown-up children to listen to you, to follow your way of doing things as you've always done it, or you want to influence your grandchildren. We all want the ability to influence, to effect change, and to help develop the character of the people within our own sphere. Now, according to John Maxwell, leadership guru and mentor and coach, and as well as other people of influence, they have said that a person of influence has 10 attributes. And you can write this down if you want to, and you can read the book later on as well. But let me just go through the 10 really quickly. First of all, a person of influence has integrity with people. You got to be honest, right? You got to be honest. They have integrity with people. That's why when politicians don't keep their promises, they lose influence over us. A person of influence nurtures people. A person of influence has faith in people. A person of influence listens to people. We're going to touch on that a bit later on. Understands people, enlarges people. We're going to talk about that as well in detail. Navigates for other people, connects, empowers, and reproduces other influences. Now, to go through every single one of these attributes is going to take a few days. And don't worry, I'm not going to keep you till then. So for the purposes of this hour and a half that I have with you, we're going to talk about faith, connection, and enlarging, and a little bit on listening as well. So, first of all, a person of influence has faith in people. Now, why are we going through just these three? Let me just go through that first. It's because I feel that by the end of the session, if you can take home these three principles and apply them to your daily life, I feel that we would be much closer to becoming people of influence within your community, within your city, within your nation, and especially within your home. Now, first of all, I want to ask a question before I go on to the first topic of faith in people. What's the one common theme in all these attributes of a person of influence? You can look at all 10 attributes. What is the common theme? You can type into the chat box. I'm going to look at my second screen here for the chat. No right or wrong answer. People. Ah, yeah, these Toastmasters, they know all the answers. People. Trust. Yes. All correct. All about people, not about self. Exactly. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is all about others. It is all about others. It's all about other people, not yourself. Exactly. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So thank you so much for answering. A person of influence has faith in people. Nancy Dornan, an entrepreneur, I think she was very successful in Amway, says that when you have faith in people, they do the impossible. So some of you may be coming to this workshop probably thinking that to become a person of influence, we're going to talk about how to make ourselves better speakers, better entrepreneurs, better leaders. But as some of you have already written down in the chat, to become the best leaders in the world, to become a true person of influence, the focus has to be off ourselves and onto others, to make others feel important, feel valued, and feel worthy of your attention. So first off, I'm sending all my energy out to each of you listening and tuning in today to say that I value you. And I thank you for taking off precious time to listen and learn today. So let's journey together to become people of influence in our community. Faith. If you wish to become a person of influence, someone who matters to someone else, then you need to have faith in them. See something in them that is worth believing in. You know, I'm a Christian, and in Hebrews 11:1, which is in the Bible, it says that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. However, there are a few things about faith, some facts about faith. See, the thing is, most people don't have faith in themselves, right? You just think about, okay, I'm going to give you, we're going to do a little workshop, a little exercise here. Just think when you wake up in the morning, just about yourself. When you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, what is your one-word strategy? i.e., what is the one word you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? More often than not, it is not a positive word, right? It is not a positive word, more often than not. So if it is a positive word, congratulations. If it's not a positive word, I want you to think of a positive word now. Think of the opposite of that negative. And I want you to rename yourself in the Zoom right now. Rename yourself with your one-word strategy and make it an adjective. So for example, worthy Melody, inspiring KK, beautiful Sharon, amazing Andrew. Some of you, gorgeous, yeah, gorgeous Patricia, wonderful Jean, pretty, handsome. I'm enough, I love that. How do you turn that into an adjective? You can be creative, see how you can turn that. Oh, you can, yeah, say worthy. Worthy is enough, right? Yeah, turn it into an adjective and start renaming yourself. So let me see whether I can see everyone. Great, we have some people. Happy, lucky. Yes, that's so true. You're always happy. Grateful. Sui, thank you. We have other people coming in and typing it up. Charming Carmen. Gorgeous Pat. Continue magnificent Ravi. Yes, I love it, love it, love it. Amazing Audrey. Okay, so when I call you out later, if we're doing any other workshop, we're going to call you out by your adjective, yeah? And some of you may even feel that it's a little bit strange, right, to call yourself that because we're Asian and, you know, we want to be humble and we don't want to say that we are good or anything. Anytime people give you a compliment, you say, no la, no la. Oh, you got a lovely dress today. No la, no la, cotton material only. we put ourselves down all the time because most people don't have faith in themselves. So continue writing that on, and as I go on with some more facts about faith in people. Most people don't have someone who has faith in them. And that's actually a fact, and it's actually quite a sad fact. For those of you who are in Toastmasters, why we join Toastmasters, one of the main reasons is because when we join, we have so many people who actually believe in us. We are encouraging, we want to build them up, even if they make you feel that you made the worst speech possible, there are still people who say, oh, that was great, well done, continue growing, right? But most people outside of Toastmasters and in the world don't have someone who has faith in them. Fact number 3, most people can tell when someone has faith in them, isn't that right? You can so tell when someone believes in you. And number 4, most people will do anything to live up to your faith in them. This is something that we don't think about often, but it's something that is really true. And if we can just let it simmer and let it come into our minds a little bit more, when we think about people and we have faith in them, they will do anything to live up to your faith in them. That's quite a powerful attribute to have. Now, why do most people have so much trouble with faith? And it is really because of its antithesis, which is fear, right? Fear. So this is a story about 2 wolves. I'm sure some of you have heard this story before. One represents faith and one represents fear. Now, which one will come to you? Which one will come to you? Anybody want to answer that in the chat? The one you feed. The one you feed. So the first step to becoming a person of influence is to have faith in people and to become a believer in people. Simple, and yet we don't do it enough. And so I want to share with you a story. As Shally said earlier, I used to be a state coach. So what happened was I was swimming for the state and for the nation before I left for my further studies in the UK. And when I came back after 5 years, I had put on so much weight. You know, they say the first 15, when you go overseas to study, first 15 kilos of the first year, yeah, I never lost it. So when I came back after 5 years of study, I was 15 kilos overweight. And I told myself, okay, the only way I'm going to shave off that weight is to go back to competitive swimming. And you think crazy, right? Because there's so much training to do and all that. And I did. I came back, I lost the weight, and I managed to swim again. And actually, I wasn't too far off my best. And actually, because I was more mature, I actually did some of my best times. So I'm going to talk about the time when, after I swam for a couple of years, I became state coach. I'm just going to show you a picture of the time when I came back after being on hiatus for 5 years, lost the weight. This is me. And these girls are basically 10 years younger than me. And they are all state swimmers, national swimmers, and this is the Malaysia Open in 2005, a year after I came back, where we won the Malaysian gold. So these are gold medalists. All of them here are 10 years younger, and I still managed to become 4th fastest to be actually in the state team to win gold for Sabah. So, as I was coach, what I did was I brought them to the Sukma Games in 2006, and over here this is part of my team. This is me, very much younger, And this is Alex Lim. If you know him, he's our 3-time national Olympian, Malaysian Olympian, and still holds the national record for backstroke. Alex Lim Keng Liat. So Sabah, we used to be pretty strong in swimming back then. So my story is the time when I was swimming coach. When I was swimming coach, there is a time in the end of the year, normally in December. It's coming up soon, and I don't think our swimmers are able to swim this time in the month of December because of the pandemic. But usually during the school holidays, we would have 3 weeks of very intensive training. Intensive training means when we are building endurance. So when we build endurance, yes, Lim Keng Liat, correct, Charlie. When we're building endurance, we have to train at least twice a day. So as coach, I would have to wake up at 5:30 with the swimmers, go to the pool, and we would just pump in the training and the endurance, and they would swim long laps. You would feel really exhausted after training. You would go back, eat your lunch, sleep, wake up, 4 p.m., you're at the pool again. And so it's 3 weeks of just endurance training, and you really have to grit your teeth. And so to help encourage them and to help to inspire them to push through, I would get them to write in their journals. So I would get them to write down how they felt every day. And then at the end of the week, they would pass me their journals, and I would read it so that I could evaluate it and see how they felt, and then adjust training accordingly. So if they are really hurt and they really feel down, I'll have to adjust it so that they can tahan, right? Tahan for the next 2-3 weeks. And I would always write a line or a short comments of encouragement as well. And so they would do that, and we would went through 3 weeks of training. And then after, I think January, February, I said goodbye to state coaching, and I gave the reins over to Lim Keng Liat. So basically, I was only coaching, waiting for him to come back from the US to take over as state coach. Then I was still with them as, you know, someone behind, but I wasn't head coach anymore. 5 years passed. After 5 years, one of the swimmers, Chilin, actually posted one of my comments in her Facebook, and she went, "Hey, coach, look at this. Look at what you said 5 years ago. How amazing. Thank you so much for being so encouraging." And this is what came up in Facebook. So you can see that. Chilin, well done on gritting your teeth and going through the last 2 weeks of hard training. Only 1 more week to go. Keep it up. It has been very satisfying and rewarding being your coach. Your determination, discipline, and strive for excellence is admirable, and you will go far in life. Keep up the great attitude, and you will never lose. Though others may swim faster, but you will grow and gain in character, strength, and life value, which is more important. I truly believe you have what it takes to reach the Olympics 2008. Just believe and go for it. Now, how many of you know that to reach Olympics is not a walk in the park? It's not going to be easy. And at that time, the other swimmer who has gone to the Olympics were boys, was Lim Keng Liat, Alvin Chia. No girls had reached the Olympics. Even myself, I didn't make it to the Olympics. But Chilin was someone that I believed in. And even though it was it seemed like a pipe dream, I decided to write it down. Guess what? She made it. She made it. And I still remember, because the trials was in July 2007, about 6 months after I wrote that. And I still remember the moment she hit the time, and she was still in the pool and she was hitting the water and all that. And then the mom and coach Keng Liat called me from the stands, screaming away, and I was screaming back here as well, because I knew it was the finals and I knew that was the race to go for. And I was here in Sabah and they were in KL for the trials. And I still remember the euphoria. Oh my gosh, she made it. She actually made it. It was a wonderful moment of just a team coming together, believing in someone and achieving that dream. So it wasn't just her dream, it was really all of us together as well. So great things can happen when you believe in them before they succeed. So now you say, how do we become a believer in people? Do we just wake up one day and say, okay, I believe in you? Do we do that? Not really, but the good news is there is a formula. John Maxwell has managed to bring up a formula to say this is how you can start believing in people. First of all, we believe in them before they succeed. Believe in them before they succeed, because as John says, believing in people before they have proved themselves is key to motivating them to reach their potential. Believing in people before they have proved themselves is key to motivating them to reach their potential. Secondly, emphasize their strengths. Unfortunately, in our Asian society, we love to hammer in on weaknesses because we think that, oh, since you're already strong in one thing, we can leave that aside, put that aside. Let's emphasize on your weakness and bring that up so that you can be a better person overall. And that's not what we should do, actually. If you want to believe in someone, you focus on their strengths. The weaknesses will come along. List their past successes. A lot of times we win something or we do something well and we forget about it too quickly. And so when you list their past successes, you do the fourth thing, you instill confidence. Say, hey, you've done it before, you've managed to go through that before, you can do it again. Because you instill confidence, especially not just when they have been successful, but when they fail. And this is a question about failure that I got from the participants. It says, can you be vulnerable and share me your failures? Share the times that you have failed. Oh, I'm so glad that you asked that, because I'm so happy to share the many times I have failed. Because it's only through failure that you can use it as a stepping stone to success, right? No one succeeds on the first try. And one of my many failures as coach, I think I will share right now, actually. Let me just stop share and so you can see my face a bit more as well. Okay. One of my failures, I think, as coach, and I still think about it today, was when I think it was either the SUKMA or the Malaysian Open when I was coach. And my team, my relay team, was 4 of them, and 3 of them were gold medalists in their individual event, and 1 of them was a bronze medalist or 3rd place in their individual event. So we had already counted them as gold medal, sure to win. Hey, hello, we got 3 gold medalists and 1 bronze medalist in the team. How not to win, right? However, during the day of competition, the finals, the bronze medalist had her own individual event earlier in the day. So I already, in the back of my mind, I thought, oh no, she's going to be tired, right? She's going to be tired before the relay itself, and she's going to be the first leg off in the relay. So we need a good lead for the others to keep the lead and win the gold medal. But my failure as coach is I decided to put it aside and did not connect with her, did not have faith in her, did not even talk to her about it. I just said, do your best, do your best. She won her bronze medal, but like what I knew would happen, she was too tired by the time the relay came, because it was only an hour after. So you're asking someone to reproduce the same amount of energy it took to get the bronze medal just an hour before, and to reproduce it in the relay. It's almost impossible unless the swimmer or the athlete is really, really strong and is able to peak twice within an hour. We lost the goal. And until now, I keep thinking, if I had more faith in her, or at least gone to talk to her and tell her to strategize accordingly, we could have won that gold medal. So that's just one of the failures that I never got it back. After that, I wasn't coach already, and we lost that goal forever. So that's one of my failures as coach, and I'll continue sharing the many failures to encourage you, because it is possible to use failure to bounce back. Okay, let me go back to here. Do you see it? No, you don't see it. Okay, there you go. So instill confidence when they fail, because then they know that, oh, you're also human lah. Yeah, we're all not perfect. and we all continue to learn through our mistakes. Experience some wins together. This is really important because a lot of times when we have faith in people, we wait for the big win at the end, and we fail to encourage them in the small wins. A lot of you are Toastmasters here, and you're mentors as well, or you're evaluating someone else. And sometimes in the evaluation, you expect them to become an inspirational speaker almost straight away. And you forget that, hey, you know, maybe they had so many R's or pause failures before, and now they've cut it down to half, and that should be celebrated. That should be celebrated. So experience some wins together, so that will give them another tool or another ledge up before they go to the next stage. Experience some wins together. Number 6, visualize their future success. I can't emphasize how important this is to visualize. I would bring my SUGMA team, my state team into a visualization process. I'll get them into a dark room, switch off the lights, get them to lie down. I said, okay, we'll go through everything from the warm-up, the day of competition, right through to reporting for their event, right through to stepping up on the blocks, how they feel, into the race itself, and when they finish, and then look at the board and see what time will flash up. And some of them even say that, wow, coach, I'm sweating because I can feel the adrenaline. My whole body went through that whole race just by thinking about it, just by visualizing their success. And sometimes your subconscious doesn't know whether that is real or not. And it is more likely to reproduce that in the physical sense. And number 7, expect a new level of living. And I'll explain that a little later on, because we're going to talk about how to live in a new level of living instead of staying back where you were before. And that's all about growth. And we'll talk about that later. So I'm not going to dwell on that. Now, as you have heard the first topic already, we are running slightly behind time, 3:40, but it's okay because we started a bit late, right? A little bit late than 3 o'clock. We're going to do a worksheet. So I'm going to ask KK Lim, our wonderful Zoom host and tech guy, tech whiz, to share the worksheet on the chat, and you can download it. We're going to do a worksheet on faith, and you're going to evaluate who you're going to believe in the next week, in the next month, in the next year, as we head into 2021. Because experience is not the greatest teacher, but evaluated experience is. And if you're a Toastmaster, you know that very well. There's no point doing a speech without being evaluated. There's no point doing a workshop without evaluating what you have just heard or just learned. So KK has already, the awesome KK, I love that, Toastmaster Awesome KK has shared it in the chat group. You can download the worksheet, and we're going to use just 2 minutes to reflect on having faith in others. So awesome KK, can you put on the music? And we'll just take a 2-minute reflection. Okay, I noticed that some people are using the iPads, and so will not be able to see the worksheet. That's okay. We're going to email it to you. We're going to email it to you, and that can be your reflection for tonight as well. And all it says is, I have it in front of me right here. It it gives you an influence checklist. It's a checklist to find a strength in someone, to build on past successes, to help others overcome defeat, and to start off right. So I'm basically just asking people to do a checklist and then write down who you want to believe in. So don't worry if you haven't been able to download it yet. We will email it to you. And I know Awesome KK, Awesome KK has everyone's emails, and he will email it to you if you don't have if you can't download it on your PDF. All right, and we are going to move on to the next one. The next one. Okay. Connection. Second one is a person of influence connects with people. And I'm going to talk about listening as well. But just to see whether we connect online, I'm going to stop share. No, not stop share yet. I'm going to teach you a game, and it's called Alien, Tiger, and Cow. Alien, Tiger, and Cow. Now, I'm also in musical theater and drama and theater, and I love that. That's my passion for the past 10 years. And I found this game as a theater game online. So we're going to play it together and see whether we can connect. I'm going to stop share so that we can go into full view of gallery view of everyone. So you can put on your gallery view, and it depends on who's on your screen. You may not have me on your screen. That's fine. That's totally fine. But let me just show you, or you might need to pin, or you pinned me already, so that's fine. So let me just show you what an alien looks like. Okay, so an alien goes like this. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, the sound as well. Beep, 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 beep. I'll get you to unmute later on, okay? Beep, 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 beep. Everybody do it, please. Beep, beep, beep. Thank you. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Okay, enough. Okay, enough aliens in the house. Tiger is very easy. Raw. Okay, everyone, 2, 3, raw. Okay, very good. Thank you for being also obedient, including mom. And the third one is a cow. Cow is like this. Moo. Moo. Okay, so you put your thumbs together and then you go moo, or one thumb if you're, yeah. Very good, very good. So just like rock, paper, scissors, but instead of trying to catch people out, we're trying to connect telepathically and see whether we can match. Okay, so we're going to turn our backs to the camera, and whoever is on your screen, on count of 3, you're going to turn around and choose either alien or tiger or cow. Okay, and we'll see whether your whole screen can match. Okay, so we're gonna be here for a while. No, I'm kidding. So we'll just do 3 to 5 rounds. But who knows? You might be so connected over Zoom that you can match the first time already. So are we ready? So turn your backs to the screen, and it doesn't matter if you don't match with me. You just try to match with whoever's on your screen. Okay. Okay, ready? You can unmute. Actually, you can unmute so that we can hear you on your beep 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 or raw or. Yeah. Or move. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Unmute. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. Are you ready, Toastmasters, fellow guests, ladies and gentlemen? Indian Tiger Cow round 1. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Roar!
Đấy, thì biết qua lúc ngoài thầu chị đấy.
Not bad, not bad. We have some matching, some not. Okay, 2 more rounds. Let's try to send your thoughts to the person on your screen. Ready? Round 2. Alien Tiger Cow, round 2. 1, 2, 3, go! We're doing quite well. A lot of tigers. Very good.
Cow! I'm a cow.
Sorry, gorgeous Pat.
I'm still the alien.
Okay,
I'm a hardworking cow.
Cheryl still alien. Crazy cat.
Last round. Are you ready to connect? Send your energy to the person in Zoom. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
Beep, 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 beep.
All right. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for playing along,
Lovely Lee.
being vulnerable, and for being silly. Okay. We're gonna go back to the screen. Not bad at all. You have managed to connect quite well. I think on the third round, we were quite telepathically connected. So well done. Well done. So what do connectors do? What do connectors do? Connectors listen to people. So the question is, how do you listen? Peter Drucker says that the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. So I'm going to ask everyone to, if you could mute everybody so that we don't hear the mics. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Peter Drucker says that the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. And how do you connect? Do you find common ground? Find the key to that person's life and make it all about them and not you. Do you do that? Most likely not. Most of us, when we meet someone for lunch or for dinner or for tea, yum cha, all that, we want to talk about us first, right? Oh, my life, this pandemic, it's been so terrible, and we want to talk, especially if you're a Toastmaster. We want to share first and make sure the other person listens, right? So let's move on to the next slide. Be a listener. A lot of times we listen to interrupt instead of listen to truly understand. I'm sure some of you went on the Toastmasters International Convention and heard the Golden Gavel Award recipient, Julian Treasure, who is the expert on listening. If you haven't yet, go onto the website. I think his keynote speech is still on, Julian Treasure. He talks about listening. It's a world-renowned communicator, Golden Gavel Award recipient, TED talker, and he says that if you want to become a better listener, you need to direct that energy and attention positively by concentrating on the person that you're with. So how? Observe body language. Body language says a lot about a person, even on Zoom. Even on Zoom, you can tell by facial expressions. Watch for changes in facial expressions. Look into the person's eyes. Now, I know on Zoom it is quite difficult because when you look into the person's eyes, you're looking into this small camera, like where I'm looking now. It feels like I'm looking directly at you, but I actually can't see you, right? But it does make a difference, especially when you're face-to-face or when you're doing FaceTime. And number 4, be 100% present and intentional. Now, I want to share with you a story on active listening that I've just learned. I say I've just learned because I'm one of those people who don't like to listen as much. I'm not a natural listener. Some people are natural listeners because of your personality, and that is great. That's great. But I'm one of the culprits that listen to interrupt because I always want to solve the problem and solve it fast. And being in the education consulting industry for over 17 years, I've come to learn to really listen to things not being said. A recent example was of a student who didn't do so well in his university, at university, and came home after first, second year of university. So I had a disgruntled and frustrated parents and a depressed student who felt that they have failed, but at the same time felt parents didn't understand them, and parents were feeling just as frustrated at their child who could never grow up and finish their education. And this is not just a one-time thing. It happens quite often, unfortunately, because the generation gap is so huge right now, and it's getting further and further away. And there's a communication gap between the older generation and the younger generation. So instead of jumping into solve a problem mode, normally I will go, okay, never mind, you didn't do so well. I've got another university for you. You can go here and then continue studying and you should be fine. Make sure you study hard this time and don't let your parents down. I could go into that mode, but instead of doing that, because now I've learned about listening from Julian Treasure and John Maxwell and all the amazing leadership gurus, I sat back to really listen to what is not being said, to understand the root of the issue instead of listening to the smoke that was billowing around the whole family. And because of that, I managed to counsel the family so that a compromise was made to satisfy both the students' wants and the parents' expectation, which is always a delicate balance. But it was achieved through active listening. So now I understood that the student really doesn't want to go back to that environment because that just made him depressed. But at the same time, the parent really wants the child, to finish their education, right? So how? What do you do? So now the child is in online learning. We managed to get him into a university that will accept him for online learning. And ironically, it is due to the COVID situation that the student even has an online learning option, which would not have been an option if he could physically go back to Australia, UK, US, or wherever he was going to. So you see, even in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of a crisis, there is a silver lining. There are solutions that would not have otherwise been possible. So be a connector. Secondly, not just listen, but be a connector, not just a climber. Yes, Julian Treasure is incredible, gorgeous Pat. Be a connector, not just a climber. And how do we do that? First of all, look for common ground. Look for common ground. We're all human beings and we all have something in common. Even though our personalities might be completely different, our characters might be completely different, our backgrounds might be completely different, but we are all human beings living on the same earth. There is some common ground. So look for that first. Look for what you have in common and then connect through that. Number 2 is find the keys to others' lives. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is ask these 3 questions when you meet someone. Maybe not the first time you meet them, otherwise you might scare them because you're too deep. But eventually, when you want to really connect with them, ask them these 3 questions. What do they cry about? Number 2, what do they laugh about? And C, what do they dream about? And I guarantee you, when you find out the answers to these 3 questions, you will find out the keys that make this person come alive or make this person want to live the next day and be able to connect that much better. And number 3, as we've said and established way back in the beginning of our workshop, it is all about them, not you. It is all about them, not you. Now, I want to just pause here for a moment and talk about connecting through the internet, through social media. The problem with social media nowadays, and this is one of your questions as well, is cyberbullying. How many of you have been cyberbullied? Yeah, me, yes. Yes. And I'll just share with you a story about cyberbullying that happened recently. So for the past 3 years, I have taken on, besides after becoming a state coach, I decided that I wanted to keep on becoming an instructor of something. So I took up this thing called Pound Fit, which is becoming a rock star, and it's a gym workout. It's a class workout where you pound the floor or you pound the mat with ripsticks. And I've been doing that for 3 years. And sometimes I'm a guest instructor at one of my local gyms. So when a gym instructor can't make it for that class, they will call me up and say, Jazz, can you take this class and do your ripstick thing, your drumming thing? I said, sure. So I'll go over and I'll do a class. I'm only a guest instructor. So I've done a few already. I've been doing it with them for about half a year, but normally I won't know who the students are because they're not my regulars. And then I received a scathing comment on the Facebook page of that gym. And the comment wasn't just on a post, it was on the recommendation. And how many of you know that if you post on recommendation, the host cannot take it down? So it's there forever. Whether it's a bad review or a good review, it's there forever. And the review was quite scathing. It was basically cyberbullying. It was this woman, I don't know who it was. I don't even know whether it's a woman or a man, said, please, can you please make sure that you employ a professional next time? Because, the one that I was very disappointed with that class with Jasmine, because, she wasn't even professional, and the tracks that she used wasn't even the original tracks. I've been to Indonesia or Philippines or wherever she went, and I've done it there, and it's very, very different. That one's very pro. Yours not pro lah. And I read that, I was a bit taken aback at first. I had to gather myself. I thought, whoa, that's really quite sharp. So, and at first, my gym buddies were saying, don't answer. Just let it go. But being me, I couldn't let it go. And so I wrote back and I said, and I'm so sorry that you felt the class wasn't professional. But just let you know, I did follow the exact syllabus as taught, and I do have a certificate, because I didn't want the gym to get into trouble thinking that they are employing someone who is not qualified. And I said, I did go through the training and I do have a certificate, so I'm so sorry that you didn't find it professional, but I hope you know that it wasn't because I'm not pro. I did follow the instructions, as I did follow the syllabus. And of course she writes back, right? She writes back, just because you are pro, you have a certificate does not mean you are pro. Oh my goodness, you cannot even squat. I was like, oh, what? Okay, and I was like taken aback, because never been cyberbullied to this extent before, and I was like, whoa, that is so uncalled for. That is so mean. Who would do that? But the thing with cyberbullying is, when you're on social media, you really are anonymous, and true colors really come out. And so instead of biting back again, which I would normally do, I thought, okay, it's okay. It's not about you, it's about them. So I had to take a step back and say, okay, not about you, it's about them. How can I connect? And I read somewhere before that if you are being bullied, whether you are being physically bullied or whether you are being cyberbullied, the first thing to do is to connect by agreeing with them. That means don't fight back. Agree with them. So I did just that. I thought no harm in trying this out. And I wrote back, say, you know what? You're right. My squats aren't the best. I could have maybe I squat better before, but that I had a back problem. And so my squats aren't the best. You're so right. I'm sure yours is much better. And, maybe next time you can come again and we can try improving our squats together. That did the trick, because she didn't reply after that. And again, I thought about, maybe she's just someone who wanted attention and nobody was giving it to her. And usually victims of bullying becomes bully themselves, because they need to feel that they are higher than the person that they're bullying, or the person that bullied them, right? So no answer after that. And when my gym instructors, my bosses saw that, they're like, oh, slow clap. Well done, Jess. Well done. I'm like, are you sure you can't take the review down? So it's still up there in some anonymous gym that will not be named. Don't go into it. But I just want to encourage those of you who are being cyberbullied, because I think we all get that at certain points in our lives, especially when you're a bit more public. Don't worry too much. It's really not about you. And just try to connect by either agreeing with them or empathizing with them and trying to get to the root of the story. So that's my story about connecting. Hopefully that encourages you that no one is exempt from cyberbullying, yeah, or even physical bullying. So let's do a listening worksheet. So you have the worksheet already. And for those of you who don't have it, don't worry, just take this time as a time to have a short 2-minute toilet break, as those of us who do have the worksheet go through the listening to people influence checklist. Yeah, you should have it. You can either print it out or do it on your PDF. And KK, 2 minutes with our inspiring music background, please.
Okay, sure. Wow. seems some of you can't download directly. Maybe I share the screen so that you guys can look at the screen and do it now.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, KK. Yeah.
I think time is up.
All right, time is up and it's already 4:06. We're doing good for time. Are you all still with me? I hope so. Give me a thumbs up. Either put it in the reaction. Hilarious story about cyberbullying. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's not fun when it happens, you know, right there and then, but I just wanted to, I thought I'll share it because it's quite embarrassing actually for me to share that, but but it just shows that everybody goes through it, right?
Oh yeah, I have experienced that before too. I'm so glad you shared.
Oh no, Pat, I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
Yeah, it
but
is
yeah,
so true. Yeah. We just have to deal with it once we are more public. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's move on to the final one. It's a good one. I love the final one because it talks about growth as a person as well, on our growth, not just about other people, but our growth. So let me just try and share. Ooh, did I not share? Wait. I didn't share my screen. Let me share my screen. Third one is all about enlarging others. Enlarging others is the third becoming a person of influence tool. And what is enlarging others? Enlarging others means is to raise their level of living. I mentioned that in the second one just now, and the first one in faith. We're going to talk more about this one here. It is to raise the potential of your organization, and it is to raise the enlarger in yourself. What is enlarging? Enlarging means just becoming more. And how do we become more is by growing. And what does that mean? How do you grow? How do you really grow? How do you make it tangible so that you can see growth? Because as most of you, if you are mothers or you teach children, you don't really see them grow, right? Not physically, you don't sit there and see. It's like watching paint dry because you can't see the growth, but you know after a year, wow, they're so much taller. Wow, they're so much bigger, right? First one is raise their level of living. John Maxwell says, I love this quote, no one can grow and remain unaffected in the way he or she lives their lives. When you enlarge others, you seize an opportunity to help them reach their potential. You increase their potential for success. Isn't that amazing? You increase their potential for success and therefore increase your potential for success as well. Now you may say, but how? how to help them grow? Okay, don't worry, it's coming up, it's coming up. First of all is to lift off their thinking caps. Lift off their thinking caps. How? First one is stop thinking, can I? Start thinking, how can I? Stop thinking, can I? Start thinking, how can I? So Asians, being Asians, can I do this? Can I? Can I? Ayo, pandemic already. How? Can I go out? Not, cannot. and our brain is such that we will answer the question. Our subconscious will answer, cannot. Can I? Cannot. Or can I? Maybe, but you have to do da, and so your brain answers it usually in a negative way. But if you just change it to ask, how can I? Your brain will also answer the question. How can I go out and not get COVID? Whatever question that comes to your brain. Oh, maybe your brain will say, wear your mask, make sure you have hand sanitizer, don't go near people, make sure you have 6 meters between you and the next person. It will come up with answers that you didn't think possible. Oops, let me mute everybody. Just to make sure that everyone can be heard. Oh, everyone can hear me rather. All right, thank you. So stop thinking, can I? Start thinking, how can I? So I've got a story to share about this one as well, but I will go through the other 3 thinking caps before I share my story. Secondly, is stop thinking more work, start thinking what works. And I would recommend you that you write this onto your worksheet or onto a piece of paper, because I'm going to ask you to do a reflection on these 3 thinking caps. Stop thinking, can I? Start thinking, how can I? Stop thinking more work, start thinking what works. Just like in any organization where 20% of the people do 80% of the work, same thing with what you're doing as well. You only need to spend 20% of the time of your energy to accomplish 80% of the work. That makes sense. If that makes sense, yeah. You only need to spend 20% of your energy to accomplish 80% of the work. And if we can do that, we will be so much more efficient in what we do as well. So stop thinking more work, start thinking what works. And number 3, stop thinking one door, start thinking many doors. Like what we said at the beginning of this workshop. Somebody's not muted. Stop thinking one door, start thinking many doors. And we said that at the beginning as well, in our beliefs there is not just one way, but many ways. And I can't express how important this belief is, because it literally opens up your brain to think of so many possibilities. And because thinking is really limited by our own mind, right? So let me just share with you what I've done during this pandemic. So I teach baby ballet, and baby ballet just started in my studio about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and because we saw the need to create a dance activity for young ones, because most of the dance schools and ballet schools and preschools will only accept children who are 4 years and above, kindergarten and above. There are hardly any baby ballet or baby activities. So we saw a need in the market, and we opened up 2.5 to 6-year-olds baby ballet studio, and it became really, really popular. But of course, when NCO hit, I thought the only class I can't conduct online is baby ballet. I mean, if you think about it, it's almost impossible, right? Because even during class, They are already running around everywhere. You're like, okay, everyone hold hands in a circle. Now cannot hold hands, but last time can. Hold hands in a circle. Okay, and then one will ask you, Miss Jasmine, dear Jasmine, can I go pee-pee? Oh, okay, can. And you look down for 1 second, and then you look up, the circle is gone. Right? So it's already quite impossible to keep them all attention to you in 45 minutes in a class. What more online? But I started asking, how can I engage them online and help their parents as well? Because during the pandemic, the parents have them 24/7, and it's not easy on young parents who have to work, but at the same time look after their toddler for the whole 24/7, and they have so much energy. And I started thinking about not more work, but what works. What can I do to keep their engagement online? And I started thinking about not just one door, but many doors. There are many ways to do that. So I Googled, I looked up, how to keep a toddler engaged online, etc., etc. And so last MCO, I managed to do online classes with babies. Not too successful, but it was okay. It was okay. And this pandemic, this MCO, I said, okay, we need to do something different. And I decided to do themes. Themes meaning, okay, parents, you're going to partner with me now. Okay, today's theme is fairy princess. So can you please just dress your child up in whatever fairy costume you have at home, and then we will do a class based on that theme. And it worked like a charm. So the kids now feel so excited to come to class online because they get to dress up. And so let me just show you one of the babies. So this is last week. Last week's theme was fairy princess.
First, let's do
this is given by the parent, the mother. She sent me the details.
Up on your toes. Up on your toes.
I'm conducting it online.
Then a ground
and Hannah is 3 years old.
Let's bend our knees this way. Down and up.
So you can see towards the end of it.
But we are not finished yet. Pirouette.
Here I'm online. So the mommy put it up on the big screen so that she can see all of us
dancing together. Did you say you want to do it all again? Wonderful. Let's go.
So imagine keeping a child online engaged for 45 minutes. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. The next, yesterday's theme, just yesterday only, was our Under the Sea theme. So Under the Sea theme, I decided to ask them, okay, wear your swimsuits. You can wear your swimsuits, you wear your goggles, if you have flippers, go ahead and do that as well. If you have floaties, those floaty wings, you can wear that as well. We will go under the sea on land. But this mother really took the cake. She even blew up the pool, her own pool. And she told me that it was the daughter's decision to do that. So this is little Isabel, 3-year-old Isabel. See, she's wearing her socks and her ballet shoes. And she's swimming. So I'm swimming online as well with her. And I'm telling them what to do, but it's just too cute not to share. So I thought I would share this. And we're flying fish. Yes. Okay, that's just to make you smile, because you can't smile. You can't help but smile at little Isabel. And for the poor thing, she couldn't see with her goggles on. So after a while, I said, okay, you can take off your goggles, because now we're mermaids and we can see underwater. And so they're very happy to take off the goggles and continue the class with me without their goggles. Okay. So next thing we have to do is not just lift off our thinking caps or help our person of influence that we want to influence, the people that we want to influence, lift off their thinking caps, is to also lift off their action caps. And what do I mean by that? Stop doing only things you have done. Start doing things you could and should do. Stop doing only things you have done and start doing things you could and should do. And I mean, the pandemic has already pushed us to do things, new things that we haven't done before. You asked me before the pandemic if I would ever imagine myself speaking to so many of you online from so many different states all at once, and even some different countries. I know some of you are online as well. I would say, I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would do that. I would prefer to give a physical workshop. And so stop doing things only you have done before. Start doing things you could and should do. Number 2, I love this one because it talks about doing more than. Stop doing what is expected of you and start doing more than is expected. We live in a society, in a community where we only do just enough to get by, or we do not enough. we try to skive, right? We try to do the least bit possible and get away with it. And unfortunately, that's the society we're living in. But in this new norm, which is going to be the norm, no more new anymore, we have to do more than is expected if we want to be noticed and if we want to become a person of influence. And number 3, stop doing important things occasionally and start doing important things daily. And what do I mean by that? John Maxwell says, success is determined by your daily agenda. This is one of my favorite quotes from him as well. And in one of your questions, you asked me to share what is my daily agenda, and I'll be happy to share it right now. Before I learned about what the importance of daily agenda, I didn't really have a daily plan. I just woke up and I did what I had to do throughout the day, and I let other people plan my day for me. But as I learned more about how important it is to have a daily agenda and to do important things daily, I started to have an agenda, a proper agenda. So I would wake up and I would think to myself, what are my 3 main events of the day? 3 main events. And why 3? Oops. Why 3 main events? Is because we only have so much time in the day. And usually we can only spend 100% of our energy on 3 main events. Any more than that, we probably won't be giving 100% to that event or to that person. So to be fair to the person or the event, 3. Just focus your attention on 3 urgent and important events that you want to get done or people that you want to see. If you have more than that and you find yourself having too many events in the day, prioritize. That means the not so important event of the day, don't spend 100% of your effort on that. Just get it done. If it has to be done, get it done. But make sure your 3 main events gets your full attention. And I tried doing that. I experimented with it. And it made my day so much more efficient. And it made the person that I was talking to or the event that I was doing so much better in terms of adding value to the person I was with, or to really make the event so good, because I was spending 100% of my presence and my effort on that. So that's what I do. And at the end of the day, it's not over yet, because as we Toastmasters say, evaluated experience is where the gold nuggets are. At the end of the day, I will do a reflection. So the reflection would be, who did I see? Just 5 minutes. Who did I see? What did I do? What did I learn? Now, the first 2 questions would be nothing if you don't have the what did I learn, third question. So at the end of the day, I will do a 5-minute reflection. Who did I see? What did I do? And what did I learn? And once you've evaluated your day, close the book, sleep, wake up. What's my 3 main events for the day? And it helps you get up with a song in your step, a song in your heart, and a dance to your step as well. So try doing that, and you will realize that your day does become much more important, and you remember a lot more as well, because you start doing important things daily. Number two, we have done raise yourself to a new level of living, as well as the people that you want to influence to a new level of living by lifting off their thinking caps and their action caps. Now it's to raise the potential of your organization. Now there's a quote at the bottom there. People are often willing to grow enough to accommodate their problems. Instead, they need to grow enough to accommodate their potential. And once you have raised yourself to a new level of living and raise people around you to a new level of living, then automatically your organization, whether you're leading Toastmasters or whether you're leading another NGO or whether you're leading your company, will go up to another level. So let me just share with you what we are doing in IEC, in my company. And I'm going to touch a little bit on design thinking. Those of you who were in the last webinar of design thinking with Sarjit, who is here, Toastmaster Sarjit, you will recognize some of the formula. This is going to be a very watered down version of design thinking, okay, because of time and because I just want to share with you what we have done. So we did an empathy exercise with the team, with my team, to say, because now with study abroad, with the study abroad business, it has really gone down quite drastically because nobody can fly overseas. Not nobody can, nobody want to. And everybody has to resort to online learning, and not everybody wants to pay thousands of dollars just to go online. So a lot of students have just decided to wait for the pandemic to be over and then go next year or the following year. But we wanted to do an empathy exercise to see exactly what is the problem with our kids and how can we help them. So we realized that students are no longer able to go abroad for further studies, and it's of no fault of their own. It's because it's just not possible anymore. So we went straight to ideation. We didn't do identify. We went straight to ideation, and we decided that since we can't bring our students to the mountain, we will bring the mountain, bring the mountain to the students. So as of then, we decided to implement this, and this is going to happen in March 2021. We're going to start an NCUK foundation program. NCUK is just the name of the foundation program right here in IEC-KK this March 2021. Now, for those of you in education, you will understand what it is. Foundation is basically a pre-university, like an STPM level before you go into university. And in Sabah, we don't have one yet. We have the A levels. We have 2 colleges that run the A levels, but we don't have an international foundation. The only other foundation we have is really the STPM, which is run by the government, and Labuan matriculation, where the students have to fly to Labuan to do 1 year matriculation before entering university. In KL, in Penang, you have all these wonderful pre-university programs, but in Sabah, we don't have it yet for all these years. And so it's about time we do, and what better time to start than now? And we should have started yesterday, but it's because we raise the potential of our organization through raising the level of thinking and action caps that we're able to come up with these ideas and to design think on it as well. Now, after you have raised the level, the potential of your organization, you need to raise the enlarger in yourself. There is no point helping others to raise their level if you don't raise your own level, because you can only teach what you know, but you can only reproduce what you are. You can teach what you know, but you can only reproduce what you are. So, growth check. Check yourself now. Are you growing? Ask yourself what you're still looking forward to. And if you can't think of anything, or you're looking back instead of ahead, then your growth may be at a standstill. So there are 3 questions I want you to quickly ask yourself. What books are you reading? Who are you spending time with? And are you intentional about your daily agenda? Are you intentional about your day? Or are you just one of those who wait for the pandemic to be over, which is going to be a while, fun fact, to get on with life? Are you going to wait and just binge on Netflix, which is not a bad thing? There's a time for Netflix. I love Netflix. But are you going to wait, or are you intentional about growing even during the crisis? So before we go into the worksheet, I want to talk about one new thing called becoming a tea person. I'm not sure how many of you heard one of the educational sessions during the Toastmasters International Convention by Sabine Hegde. I was so inspired by his session that I decided to take his points and share with you today. Becoming a tea person. Why am I inspired by this? Because we are taught throughout the years, many years of education, that we should be an I person. That means We finish SPM, we finish high school, we go to university, we choose a subject, and we are that for the rest of our lives. So if we are a teacher, we are a teacher for the rest of our lives. If we are a pharmacist, pharmacist, engineer, engineer, doctor, doctor, lawyer, lawyer, right? But over the last 10 years, I think 10 years of counseling, I realized that we are so much more. We are so much more than our careers. And I see some of you nodding already. Yeah, we're so much more than our careers. And I couldn't put it into words until I heard the educational session during the TI convention. And I just want to share with you this story about the Japan bullet train and how this engineer managed to solve the problem because he was a T person. So in Japan, before the bullet train, this is how the train would look in Japan and all around the world, really. Now, the challenge was that this train would travel at 300 kilometers per hour and were exceeding the environmental sound level standards when entering the tunnels. They call it the tunnel boom, because the air pressure from a non-tunnel, from outside, going into the tunnel would change drastically. Engineers, you would say this in a much better way, I'm sure. But the air density changes so much and so quickly that it would create a tunnel boom. So something had to be done, but engineers just scratching their head, didn't know what to do. However, thankfully, one of the engineers was also a bird watcher. So he was a T person. He's an engineer, but on the right side, just think of the T on the right, his hobby was bird watching. And one day during the weekend, while he was indulging in his hobby, he saw the kingfisher go from air directly into water to catch the fish without creating a single ripple on the water. And so Nakatsu, this engineer, thought, hang on a second. This is exactly like what my challenge is about. Going from air into water that is so dense and yet not creating a ripple. How is that possible? And so he brought this idea back from his hobby to do the first draft of the bullet train design. And as you can see now, the bullet train is actually fashioned after the beak of the kingfisher. You can Google this later on and read about it. It is fascinating to read about of how this idea came about. And the result, not only did it solve the tunnel boom issue, but it is almost, I think, 40% more energy efficient. And it's now still the fastest train in the world. So how to become a T person, or rather the benefits of becoming a T person. So I want to share with you how indulging in my passions have helped me in my eye as much as the engineer Nakatsu helped with his challenge as well. So I'm in education. My eye is education. I studied law and HR, but I came back to become an educationist because I wanted to take over my dad's business and help him out. On my right is I love ballet, and I still continue that hobby right through my adult years. And even now, I still go and take ballet lessons because I love it. I love it. I did law and HR, which is my left side. So my left side is really the business side, the science side. I don't really do science, but business and the thinking side. And on the right is more my creative side. I do Toastmasters, which involves thinking, involves writing, involves evaluating. So I put that on the left side, and I've been doing that since about 20 years now. And I'm also an avid musical theater enthusiast. I love musical theater, and I produce, direct, act, sing, dance, the whole works. And all these arrows will show you now what that has transpired. Because I've continued to indulge in musical theater, ballet, and Toastmasters, I am now in the John Maxwell team. And I would not be able to be in the John Maxwell team if not for Toastmasters and if not for my education side of things. I've also opened up baby ballet, which is part of education, but not fully just education in my eye, not just teaching English, but ballet as well. So I've infused those two passions into IEC Baby Ballet. And I've also founded my own IEC Heart for Arts Foundation, which is a foundation to level up the performing arts level in the city of KK and in Sabah eventually as well. We've already done a few productions, and I haven't added that on, but I've also started using speech and drama in our English classes so that it will help in leveling up the confidence of the students in class as well. And that has really helped to make our English classes a bit different from the run-of-the-mill English classes that you find in town or in the city. So I want to encourage you to explore your T. Don't listen to people who say, oh, no, you must focus on just one. If you're good in maths, just maths alone. Don't go dancing, don't go fencing, don't go badminton. Just focus on your maths or focus on your academics, because that's going to make you successful. As we have seen from Nakatsu and all the other, you can Google all the other T people who have managed to infuse their hobbies into their I so that they become truly a balanced person, not just a balanced person, but an overall more successful person as well. So, enlarge worksheet. Now you have your worksheet. This is the last worksheet we're going to do today before we go into our Q&A. And on your worksheet, you will see that it will ask you about whom to enlarge. Who do you want to enlarge? Who do you want to grow, help grow? And to note down the people that you want to help grow and develop. And I want you to also add in the worksheet. If you don't have the worksheet on a piece of paper, it's fine. The 3 questions, the 3 thinking caps, and the 3 action caps that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to write it in the chat group so that you can see what it is. Basically, right there, your thinking caps. So stop thinking, can I? Start thinking, how can I? So I will continue writing that, then you can write that into your worksheet and then write your answers. And then if you have time, 2 minutes, draw your T. Draw what is your I first, your main career, and then have fun with your T. And you can see straight away where you are probably not exploring enough. And I hope that during this pandemic, you will just explore your interests and see how you can expand that T to make it something that you can grow in as well. So 2 minutes, let's do that. And I'll write down in the chat group the thinking and action caps as well. 2 minutes, over to you, KK. All right, time is up. There was a question. Can go back to page 1 and 2. What does that mean? Page of the PDF, or you want the slide?
Oh, maybe just now I was sharing another page, but not page 1 and 2.
Oh, I see. Okay. Your page 1 and 2, don't worry, will be in the... Sorry, there's another question there. For enlarging people segment, what is meant by resource for current need? That means, okay, let me just go through that. Resource for current need means, depending on the person that you are enlarging, what resources do you need to help enlarge that person? Because every person is different, every need is different. Maybe you have to read a book to help that person, or maybe you have to get someone else to help you with that particular need. So it's just writing down what resources you need to help that person grow. Hope that answers. All right, I'm going to go back to the sharing our enlarging worksheet. And we are almost done. Oh my goodness. I can't believe you all stayed for so long with me. So to recap, becoming a person of influence. Faith. Have faith in people. When was the last time you focused on someone's strengths and encouraged them? When was the last time? Number 2, connect. Do you intentionally connect with others and really listen to them, or listen only to respond? And I just want to let you know that when I ask this question, I'm asking myself as well, because I'm continually learning to become a better person, to have faith in others and to connect with others. And lastly, enlarge. How are you raising your own level of living so that you can continue to inspire others to grow and develop? And are you continuing to grow yourself? And lastly, be a T person. So becoming a person of influence is a lot of things, but hopefully today you can start with these 3 attributes and become intentional about having faith in others, connect with others, as well as enlarge others. And if you can do that, you're 3 steps closer to becoming a person of influence to your family, your company, and your community. I love connecting with people, so feel free to email me, check out my Facebook and my Instagram on Coach Jasmine Leong. Just connect with me in the chat as well if you want to. And before we go into Q&A, I guess to start off the Q&A, I thought I would start with answering some questions that you have already emailed to the team before this webinar itself. And I found these questions fascinating. So I'm going to go through them really quickly because I've answered most of them during the topic, during the workshop itself, but I know there are some that haven't been answered yet. So let me just go through them. We're into our Q&A session, and if you do have any new questions, do write it in the chat, and then Shelly will help me to read them out if I haven't answered them yet. Okay, first question I thought was really interesting is how to create your own charisma. Because most of person with influence has their own charisma. Very true, very good question. My answer to that is charisma is surface level. To be a true person of influence takes time, takes faith, takes work. And it's a daily intentional choice. The charisma will come out of your inner life as you have faith in people, as you connect with others, as you enlarge others. The charisma will come. We can't create charisma out of thin air. It has to come from within. So I hope that answers that. Another question that's quite related is person with influence equals people willing to listen. The question is how to create that influence that people will be willing to listen to you. I have to read it out because I found it quite entertaining. How to make people listen to you? The question is start listening to them first. Yeah, you can't force people to listen to you. You have to start listening to them first, and then maybe they will want to listen to you as they hear your integrity, they hear how honest you are, they hear that you're genuinely wanting to help them, and only then will they listen to you. Okay, there's another question here. To be someone who is influential, is it because they are expert in certain areas? Or is it because of the way they speak? There's another verse in the Bible. I'm going to use that because the Bible has a wealth of knowledge that says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it goes back to the charisma question as well. A lot of us here are Toastmasters, right? Public speaking club is one of the reasons it is so frightening to speak in public, because the moment you open your mouth, you are exposed. Your insecurities, your fears, your dreams, your hopes, your wants. And so to become a person of influence is not because they are expert in certain areas. They may be really good in certain areas, but that's not why they are influential. They are influential not because of the way they speak, but because of how they're living their lives. So it really doesn't matter whether they speak well or not. That again is like charisma. I find is surface level. If you have done the work, your inner life and out of the heart, the mouth will speak. And when they hear the genuineness, again, the integrity and the honesty and the real nuggets coming out of your mouth, that's when you know you have influence over that person. Or rather, you know that that person is someone of influence. Okay, another question here. Can anyone become a person of influence? How about introverts or persons who are not having any titles? Same as leadership. How can I lead if I don't have any leadership role? How can I influence if I don't have any influential role? But again, as I said at the beginning, we all lead ourselves, right? We have self-leadership. We have a mind, we are a human being who can make decisions how to lead ourselves and influence ourselves to grow, to enlarge, to become a better version of ourselves. And once people see that, they see that you're a person with integrity and honesty and have a growth mindset, they will flock to you like bees to honey. You won't have to worry about any positional leadership or influencer role that is tagged onto you. People will follow you because they want to, because they see that steadiness and they see how well you are leading yourself. If that makes sense. Okay, that's what I wanted to start with. So do we have any questions from participants online? Any now questions? If not, I'm just going to go through the other questions that are on the list as well.
At the moment, none. At the moment, none. But
Okay,
everyone, if
good,
you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box. We'll ask Jasmine right away.
Hi,
Okay.
I caught one. Sorry, there's one from BK. When is the time to allow the person you are helping to grow, and when is the time to let go?
Oh, wow. I love that question. Wonderful question. Let me just put, okay, I'll stop sharing the screen already. When do you stop help? Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. When is the time to allow the person you're helping to grow, and when is the time to let go?
Okay, from experience, it is always a time to grow. There is never a time not to grow. Because like the old adage says, right, once you stop growing, you start dying. You have to move somewhere. And nothing stays stagnant, especially with life as well. So it is always a good time to grow. It may not be, some people grow faster because they're ready. Some people grow slower, but as long as they're moving forward, continue to encourage that. Some people may take longer than others, but it's okay as long as they're moving forward. Secondly, when is it time to let go? I think as a good mentor, it is always good to have just a guiding hand. It's like the eaglet that's standing on top of a cliff. Right? I love this story because because when you have faith in someone, you know when that person is ready, and you have to invest. So I would say, as a mentor, you will know when the person is ready. Just like the eaglet that is trying to go for his first flight, and the mother eagle is back there, slowly pushing. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And the eaglet goes, mommy, but what if I fall? And the mother eagle goes, oh, my dear, but what if you fly? So again, it goes back to having faith in the person, believing in the person, and knowing that even if they fall, that you're going to be there for them. So let go earlier than you think necessary. Don't mollycoddle them. They are responsible for their own wings. Yeah. And because you have journeyed with them already for so long, you have faith in them, let them go a little bit earlier and see where they go. And let them know that you're always there to back them up should they fall. But oh, what if they fly? Okay, I hope that helps.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, there's another question from Chung Chi Chen. I'd like to ask, what is the difference of the I and T person?
The I person is basically someone who is just very straight. Just like the I. That's all they do. That's all they do. Like just like when you ask someone, oh, hi, how are you? You meet someone someone new, and you say, oh yeah. I'm a doctor. Okay. Anything else? You know, oh, what's great about being a doctor? You know, like that. So it's very obvious when someone's just an I, because they usually stop growing after they have reached the top of their profession. They stop growing, and when you stop growing, you stop inventing and creating, and you stop developing yourself. So when you become an I, you think you know everything already, and you stop growing. These are people who would probably not join Toastmasters because they think they know everything. Yeah, we all know people like that, unfortunately, and it's very obvious when you meet them as well that they're not people who will have a growth mindset. So T people are those who continually explore other areas of their life, because we are all more than just one thing. We're all more than our careers. And when you explore the T, you realize that that T helps you with your I, and you continue growing in your I. I hope that answers the question. If not, you just let me know again.
We have another question from Ricky Joshua. Hi, Jasmine. Can you share your experience with initiating difficult conversations with people you intend to influence when they are plateauing? How frequent should we do this with them?
I love that as well. There are some people who do not want to be helped, so cannot let them go. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There are people who do not want to grow, and you can only lead them so far. If you really want to help them, all you can do is be there for them. Let them know that you are available when they are ready. Some people may not be ready, and it's okay not to push them. Just let them know that you are there for them to help them when they are ready. And how often to push? Again, it depends on your relationship with them, whether you have connected with them. So whenever you connect with them, I would advise, don't say, hey, you know, come on lah, you have to get out of this rut already. You're already broken with your boyfriend for 2 years already. It's been 2 years. Come on, you can do it. You know, come on, bring you out for party. Maybe that's not the right way. So it depends again on your relationship with the person, and you will know after connecting with them how to add value to that situation, whether it's time to hold back and wait, whether it's time to move in to help. This is a very case-by-case issue, because it depends on the person that you are with, that person that you want to influence, and how close you are with that person as well. Yeah. Again, faith, connect, and always be intentional about growing that person. Stick to these 3.
And another very interesting question. Thank you, Jasmine. I have trouble to write the checklist of enlarging people because I think I'm just not good enough. My abilities are not good enough to enlarge people. How should I think about it in another way?
I love that question. Thank you for asking that. If you have trouble writing down who you want to enlarge, go back to the 3 thinking caps and the 3 action caps of enlarging yourself first. Because you can only teach what you know, but you can only reproduce what you are, right? So enlarge yourself first. Focus on enlarging yourself. So for example, oh, you haven't put down your 1-word strategy. Your Toastmaster Yijing, are you amazing Yijing? You know, you have to start enlarging yourself first, believing in yourself and having faith in yourself first. Start lifting your thinking caps. And then as you do that, your eyes will open up to see who else you can help along the journey of enlarging. So don't worry too much about enlarging others. Start enlarging yourself first, and then your eyes will open up. Thank you for that question. That's a really good question. Oh, I see another question from Nicole. Is that right? That's the next one, right?
Yep, that's the next
How
one.
do you influence detractors, especially in sales role where they are keen on your products, but not willing to pay for upgraded services and additional troubleshooting support? Okay, connect. What is their pain point? What do they really need? And go from that sense, go from that approach rather than I really need to sell you my product because my product is good. So again, it's all about them. It's about them. What is their pain point? What is their need at the moment, and how can you add value to them? And if they still can't see that after that, then maybe they're not the right client for you at this point. But at least you know you have tried your best to add value to them. Yeah, connect with their pain point. I have another question here from the list, which I do want to address. Let me just read it out. Personal experiences, and this is a character question, and it says there are two questions here. It says how to continue to influence after a broken relationship or an unpleasant experience. We all have that, right? We all have that. It goes back to the worksheet just now. To listen to them, really listen, not to interrupt, and don't listen. Try not to listen with your emotions. I know it's really hard for us ladies, especially. Listen, empathize with them, and add value. Always go into any conversation to add value to them. How can you help? How can you listen to understand and then add value to that person? If you start with that approach, you can never go wrong, right? Because it's always about the other person. Second question from here, can we be a person of influence to the opposite gender without creating uncomfortable situations? Yeah, very same as above. Listen, empathize, add value. Listen, empathize, add value. And the moment you feel, this is from personal experience, the moment you feel that it's going beyond the threshold of just friendship and just mentor-mentee relationship or whatever, be careful lah. Guard your heart. Above all else, guard your heart. Yeah, this is heart matter already. And if I can advise, make sure you have your own mentor as well, so that they can help to navigate and make sure that you don't go beyond beyond the point of no return, right? Okay, we have another question from Justin. May I ask how to influence juniors to take up the leadership role? How often they have low confidence in themselves to take up the role? Have faith in them. Have faith in them. Experience small wins. The list of how to have faith in them is listed out already as well. Just now is to empower them, have faith in them, let them know that you believe in them. Experience small wins, give them small tasks first. Don't throw them into the deep end expecting them to swim straight away. And even if you do throw them in the deep end, let them know that you are with them all the way and that you will save them if they fall. And like I said in the beginning as well, if you have most people don't have someone who has faith in them. That's why they're scared. They're scared that if they fall alone, right? So if you have faith in them, make them know that you have faith in them, and then when they know that you believe in them, they will do everything they can to live up to your faith in them. Oh, thank you, Justin, and all the best with your youth. I think youth are the most precious commodity at the moment because they are our future leaders. So if you have youth within your sphere of influence, empower them all the more. Yeah. How did I get to learning with John Maxwell? Oh, I've always been a follower of John Maxwell. I met him in 2012 at a Toastmasters event, at the Toastmasters International Convention in Orlando, Florida. I went with a group of KK Toastmasters, and my mom was there with my parents as well. And he spoke because he was the Golden Gavel award recipient. And ever since then, even before then, I was already a fan, but I became more of a fan then. So I started following him on his social media. And in 2011, just a year before that, he started this John Maxwell Leadership Institute team, and where you can apply to become a coach and a trainer and a speaker online, and you get training online. And I'm supposed to go to Orlando in March this year to attend the final graduation ceremony, meet him and shake his hand and all that. But obviously, because of the pandemic, that is still pending. But he does have an online training institute, and you have to apply with your resume, of course, and they train you online. And you get to hear from the man himself as well as all his professional speakers. So it's a great institute to be part of, and a great team to be part of. All right, that's all the questions I have. I don't think I've missed anything out, anything major, but I do want to encourage you to look for a mentor. If you do want to continue connecting with me, I do offer one-on-one coaching sessions, as I have shared on my screen. I'll share it again. I do offer one-on-one coaching. I do offer group mastermind lunch and learns, keynote speeches, and 1 to 2 day trainings as well. The KK Toastmasters Exco decided to ask me to be part of their growth journey last year, and so I coached and I gave workshops, about 8 sessions to the KK Toastmasters Exco team last year to grow the team and to grow them as individuals as well. And I think they enjoyed it. Some of them are here listening as well. I do coaching one-on-one, and some of my friends have come to me to ask for this coaching. Especially if you're in between jobs, or you're facing a challenge in your life right now and you need just a listening ear and just a guide, I would love to connect with you and go on a coaching journey with you as well. So I'm available for that as part of my John Maxwell group training. And with that, I think that's all I have for today. And it's 5 o'clock, 5:01, so we're ending just on time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you take away something of value, and do continue to connect. I look forward to hearing you via email or through my Instagram and Facebook. Again, back to you, Shelly.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Jasmine. Let's give her some reactions, everyone. The clapping reaction, as well as show the clapping as well. Wow, I guess one special takeaway that I have today is this: faith is to believe them even before they succeed. I guess this is super powerful for all of us who are in Toastmasters. And in fact, I think this is also one of the ways that we are encouraging all the new Toastmasters by providing them lots of motivation, and also to get them to continue their leadership and communication journey. Often, this inexperienced speaker or inexperienced leader may one day become a world champion in public speaking, or even become a district director. And of course, this is the real history of our current district director as well. Next time, I'll tell you the story. Moving on, I would love to invite Project Director, past District Governor, Distinguished Toastmaster KKG, to present the Certificate of Appreciation to Distinguished Toastmaster Jasmine for her time and effort today. KK, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie, Toastmaster of the Day. Now, before I present the certificate, can you all once again help me to acknowledge Jasmine for the wonderful session that she has just shared with us?
Thank you, Jasmine. We love you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jazz.
Yeah, it's clear, Jasmine, you know, the way that you executed or conducted the webinar is so transparent. You know, just now there was a question about asking, can you be vulnerable? I think it's a given. You were vulnerable throughout the webinar. That's how I felt. And the reminders that you shared with us are so valuable. Having faith in others. To me, it means don't think we are the only superheroes in this world. There are many superheroes that are unreleased or not yet released in many people. So we need to believe that this superhero in them can be released. And if we can help them release these superpowers in them, then we are on our way to become a person of influence. Listening not just with our ears, but with our minds, and more importantly, with our hearts. Then we can connect. The connection is not the mind. The connection is in the heart. And finally, the enlarging. The enlarging is the application side. That's how I see it. Whether we will be doing, carrying out, having the faith in people, connecting with people so that they can be enlarged, because we want to add value to them. And I believe, and I know, I've been in Toastmasters for decades. I see this happening all the time throughout the Toastmasters journey. People influencing others. And just now there was a question. I don't have a position. I may not have the authority to influence. And you answered very well. It's not the position that influence the person. It's how we conduct ourselves as a leader or as an influencer to help them grow, to give them the courage to try to attempt the first speech, the first evaluation, and then the second one, and then the third one. I don't need to be a club president to do that, or VPE. I can be an SAA and still do that. I can be just an ordinary member and still do that. The question is, just do it. Just do it. Don't wait to have a position to do all the things that we can do to influence people, to grow, to be better. Because the old Red Indian saying is, we cannot throw perfume, sprinkle perfume on others without some dropping on us. It will come back to us. We don't need to ask and demand for credit. It will come.